Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the desk just then.
Whoa.
Let me try that again. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
Excellent.
Sounds great.
Peter got 2,
Yeah.
so I wanted 2 as well.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. How you all doing?
Hello.
Good?
It's Gamescom week. Well, Gamescom is nearly done by the time this
Yeah,
comes
this
out.
is
We're
true.
recording this on a Tuesday afternoon, which is
It's crazy.
maybe the earliest we've
It's
ever recorded this podcast.
Crazy.
We're going to be joined by the illustrious Perturbed Austin until the big discussion, at which point Ashton and I will be recording that later in the week without Peter,
Yeah.
so we can talk about Gamescom Opening Night Live
Yes.
Yeah.
and all the stuff that probably didn't happen there. Jeff has been working very hard, as he always does, but especially hard this time to temper expectations.
Yeah, he's really
He's
trying.
like, please do not get excited.
He said it again this morning. He tweeted saying, just to remind you all, it's stuff that you already know about.
Yeah,
I
here's
saw
the list
Bloodborne
again.
trending earlier. It's like, guys, you need to stop. You need to. Although,
He knows he's just going to get backlash
what if
anyway.
Bloodborne does get announced tonight at the time of recording, and we're down talking it now?
Yeah.
Playing
I'd
it
say
down now.
it'll be mostly stuff that you already know about. There's probably still going to be 1 or 2 reveals, but
The Rock
get
presents
a-
Zoa 2.
Yeah.
We'll get our fair share of world premiere.
I hope so. But
and
there'll
there'll
be
just
like
be some anime
weird
game.
free-to-play
Yeah.
Chinese games.
Yeah.
Honky Star Rail 2.
Honky Star Rail 2, whoever opened their wallet, basically.
So the fact that we're we're playing this on recording this
You
on a
got this, don't
Tuesday.
worry.
As you can tell, it's the end of the day. Not only is there stuff about Opening Night Live that we'll be talking about later that we don't know about at this present time, but maybe on like Wednesday, it's announced that Hideo Kojima is actually a war criminal or something. And, you know,
Whoa.
there's some huge news. Or Ubisoft gets bought by Pop Games or something.
yeah,
You know, anything could happen.
that could happen, which is why we're strategically waiting to talk about Gamescom until the end of the show, and we know nothing currently at
So
the
sorry
time
if
of
we've missed a
recording.
big story.
Yes, as it stands, we know absolutely nothing. It is, however, time to talk about this week's sponsor. Each and every week, we have a very, very real sponsor that helps us keep the lights on here. We did actually spot, is he still there?
Yeah.
Dead
Still
Island
there.
2 The Spider is actually in the room. We are graced by his presence. He's over there. We spotted him on the way out of the room last week, and he's not moved.
Not moved
No.
even a little bit.
He's hunting. That's how they do it.
Do they stay stationary for weeks at a time?
Web and then and then wait.
Web.
That's
Yeah.
what they
It's
do.
good.
Yeah.
He's just chilling out. over
Just
there.
chilling.
Should I bring him over?
No.
Do you guys want to?
Why not?
I'm actually right with him being where he is, thanks.
There was a big daddy long legs when I was in the shower yesterday, and I thought this is probably. I bet like 3 people a year die in the shower because there's
Because they freak
bugs.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
Probably.
was all right, but I know that some people cannot abide daddy's long legs.
No, they're too long.
Yeah.
They're just far too long.
I prefer mummy long legs.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Mm.
My sponsor that I've got here, which is real, is as follows. Gamescom is this week. And as we all know, Gamescom is held in Cologne, Germany.
Right.
Right, yeah.
So finally, they've done it. It's taken them long enough to distill the essence of a 5-day trade event at the height of summer into a bottle. Pour femme or pour homme. That was some French there, not German. Introducing the official scent of Gamescom, Eau de Gamer. And it says here, Es ist schlecht. Schlecht.
It is horrible.
It is, yeah, it's bad.
Bad.
That's what that's the tagline. Es ist schlecht. Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, I think you're doing a great job.
Schlecht, thank you. So there's an official scent now.
Smells of stinky gamer boys.
Smells of just gamers.
Distilled.
gamers.
Gender
sorry.
neutral, just smells of gamers.
Yeah.
At Gamescom, it's amazing to me that they've not done a cologne before now. Considering
The
where
cologne
they are.
cologne.
The cologne.
It
cologne,
really
exactly.
puts eau de toilette into perspective. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
Eau de
Toilet
eau de
water.
Odor
Yeah.
armpit is this.
Toilet odor.
So that'll be available right now. You can pick it up in Cologne or on
Maybe
the
it'll
internet.
be as a giveaway on Opening Night
Could
Oh
Live.
be.
my god, yeah, Eau de Gamer.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Odening like knife. What?
Oh, okay, hang on. No,
Okay,
you're nearly
yeah,
there.
yeah.
You
Something
can
like
do that.
Yeah. Odening night live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Very
it.
good.
That's,
Opening
that's
night
great.
live.
That's
Thanks.
actually a better name for it, and we could have gone with that because this isn't real.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Eau de Gamer does not exist. You just need to attend and have a big old inhale, and you will know what Eau de Gamer is all about. We're sponsored, of course, by wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. We're trying to encourage loads of you to go over there at the moment because we've got all sorts of very exciting things coming up on that Patreon, including maybe some rather big news coming out of SMTJ Live, which is on the 2nd of September at 11 a.m. on YouTube. That's our big live show. It's going to have all sorts of silliness in there. We've got most of the pre-recorded stuff done now, and it is coming together beautifully.
So even if you've looked at the rewards that are on there currently for SMTJ, there may be some stuff post SMTJ. It's very exciting to look at.
And if you happen to like me at all, I know that there's about 400 of you who haven't voted on the poll about who gets gunged. And right now, I'm winning the poll. And it would mean, hey, it would be really good if you guys could go and vote for Peter instead.
Yeah, I'm already winning the Walrus
vote for
Onesie
me
poll
if you
at
want.
the moment.
I know that there's like at least 400 votes, and I think they could sway it big time if they vote for somewhere else instead. So
I'll take one for my best friend.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Vote for me.
Yeah.
If you win, though, I'm not taking it for you.
Oh, damn it.
So if you go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, as these two have alluded to, there are some limited time rewards available. You will still get all the rewards associated with those tiers, but currently there are some limited time ones that will allow you to directly influence the shape and the flow of SMTJ Live, which will be really good fun. So go check those out. You can go to triplej.mup/SMTJ to see those specific rewards relating to SMTJ Live, or just go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, sign up at the $5 tier. You get question asking, you get weirdest games a week early, worst games 2 days early. At the $10 tier, you get our bonus After Dark podcast, which we recently celebrated 50 episodes with a live episode. A lot of you came along for that. There's loads of amazing stuff on there, and it's only going to get better. So go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump. There's also a shop, triplejumpshop.com, and our website's triplej.mup, where you can find links to our YouTube, Twitch, Discord, and Cameo. Anything you guys want to plug that's going out on the channel this week? Some exciting things upcoming, maybe?
Well, it was going to be SMTJ Live and Gamescom Opening Night Live, but we've talked about those.
Yeah.
So
Got them out of the way easy. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's crack on then with question 1.
All right. It's from Jack Bradshaw, who says, "Ahoy, hoy, Bap. Hope you're all well. What are your guys' thoughts on Charles Martinet?" That's how he pronounces it. Some people say Martinet. He says Martinet.
Charles Martint.
Martint, yeah. Charles Martinet, the original voice of Mario, stepping down from the role of voicing the Italian plumber after 3 decades and instead becoming a Mario ambassador. Goodness me. I've got a write-up here from Eurogamer. Nintendo's statement, this comes midway through the article. Nintendo's statement suggests Martinet has also recorded his final line as the other Mushroom Kingdom characters he voices, including Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. Nintendo has yet to state which of its various upcoming Mario projects will be Martinet's swan song or to name his successor. And there's a quote here from their statement they put out. "Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far back as Super Mario 64. Charles is now moving back into the... No, don't know where I got back from. Charles is now moving into the brand new role of Mario Ambassador. With this transition, he'll be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he'll continue to travel the world, sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with you all. It's been an honor working with Charles to help bring Mario to life for so many years, and we want to thank him and celebrate him. Please keep an eye out for a special video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles himself, which we'll post at a future date." And then they updated the article. Martinet shared Nintendo's statement with a message of his own. "My new adventure begins. You are all number one in my heart. Hashtag woohoo." And then it says, when asked why Martinet would no longer voice Mario, a Nintendo spokesperson told Eurogamer that this decision was made after carefully considering a variety of factors. Now, I don't like that bit.
No.
Yeah.
Because that if he just decided he wanted to retire, the response would be, Charles says he's getting a bit old. He just wants to maybe do a bit of traveling, go to a few cons, but not do regular voice work. But that sounds like they have said, "Nah, you're all right, Charles. I think we're all right now. We're going to get someone else to do it."
I think there's 2 avenues or 2 schools of thought of why this has happened. Either they've got enough Mario-isms now that they can just soundboard him
Use
for the rest
AI.
of time. Yeah, or use AI.
Oh.
Or they've seen the success of the Mario movie,
No.
and Mario's going to
No.
start talking. That's the alternative.
I thought you were going to say Chris Pratt. Like,
well,
no.
I don't think Chris Pratt's going to do it, but I do wonder if
he's going to be more
chatty.
Right, a bit more. Yeah, he's going to speak in sentences and stuff. My concern and that little additional statement there, kind of, it makes me think that there may be some weight to this. Is that I hope he's not stepped away due to health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I also hope that he's not been forced out. It doesn't sound like he's been forced out at all.
No.
He seems still on good terms.
Everything that I've seen certainly makes it seem that this was a decision that he reached himself.
Yeah.
But that throws that into doubt, I think. That's a weirdly...
A variety of factors.
It's an ambiguously worded thing.
Yeah.
It's sort of a little question mark hanging over it. This was actually... A lot of people worked this out a while ago. I don't know if you saw this.
No.
After the Nintendo Direct, where we saw Super Mario Bros. Wonder announced, and also what was it called, Wario Move It, the new game. Lots of people said that doesn't sound like Charles Martinet, and there were lots of videos on Twitter comparisons between them.
Oh, really?
Right.
And so it certainly seems that I think it's now confirmed that Charles Martinet is not doing the voice of Mario in the new Super Mario game. So this is clearly, it's not a recent decision. This was a decision that was made at least a decent time ago. So it's not new, at least. It's not sudden. It's not like hopefully this isn't, knock on wood, the case that he is unwell, and he suddenly had to step away from the role. This has been a long time coming, it seems, at the very least. So I'm hoping that means that he's all good. He's okie dokie, as he would say.
I've seen people say that his role in the Mario movie is like that was his last thing.
Right.
They kind of think that that's the last thing that he did for them, being his last line. Those are my boys. It's the last thing he says.
It's beautiful.
To be fair, like the one thing, so I'm sure a lot of people are very upset by this. Well, I mean, we'll all be sad to see him go from the role, but I mean, some people I think are probably quite angry about this, and say, "Oh, why Nintendo got rid of him?" and jumping to conclusions and things like that. The fact is that, like, whatever the reasoning is, whether he's completely just decided to do it himself, or the other end of the spectrum, Nintendo have said, "We don't want you anymore for X reason." I think that Mario, as a character, is just going to outlive Charles Martinet.
Yeah.
He just simply is. And he may well even outlive us. So the facts are that at some point he will have to be voiced by someone else, or unfortunately perhaps some kind of AI generated voice based on Charles's previous work. So this was going to happen at some point. It had to happen eventually. So in that sense, I think maybe you can take anyone who's, either angry about this or just sad about this, can take some solace in knowing that it had to happen one day. Mario will outlive us all pretty much. So
he's
there's
going
to
live to the heat death of the universe, and
yeah,
Mario will still
is.
be wahoo.
Yeah, that might be the last thing that anyone ever says on Earth.
The final noise in the universe.
the last noise.
Here we go. And that's it.
Yeah. I think it's nice that he's got a job.
Yeah.
Like that it's not gone like we're parting ways and doesn't work for us anymore. They've made up a job for him. And
Mario ambassador.
Yeah. And they were like, you want to do this instead? I'm worried, I'm get my words out. I'm curious about what Mario Ambassador is, whether that's just going to be like go to cons,
which
talk
already
to people,
does.
which he already does.
Excited to meet all of us, is what he said, which I assume
he's going to come to
did.
everyone's house who has a Mario.
About time.
Yeah.
When's he coming around to
He's going
mine?
to come out of the pipes.
Yeah. Oh look, Charles is here. It's our turn to be visited. I'm intrigued by what his job will be, and like I say, I'm glad that they've not parted ways completely. But it is one of those things where it's like, Dad still works here, but he's no longer the CEO of the company. He's
just floating about.
He's just he works and we pay him a wage. More than it's like
he's earned it.
Yeah, he has. Don't get me wrong, he has.
He made Mario.
Yeah,
well, he didn't make Mario, but I think it was Jeff. Big Jeff Keighley shared a video from back in the day when Jeff Keighley still looked exactly the same as Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, it was like 15 years ago. I was like, this could have been a week
that's
ago.
That's just Jeff Keighley. And he went to what's his name? I've already forgotten his name. Charles's house. And he knocked on the door, and several times like, just in here is where all the Nintendo characters are. They're just behind this door. They're in this house. This is where all the Nintendo characters are.
Well, Jeff's doing that.
Yeah. And then Charles lets
That's
him
how he
in.
sounds.
And he goes, all the Nintendo characters are in here. And he's so excited to see all these Nintendo characters.
And
Jeff's
and
best
Charles
friend,
is like,
Charles Martinet.
Charles, yeah, he's got two best friends.
I like to imagine Charles was like, they're not actually in
So
here.
where are they? Can I meet them?
They're not
Where's
real.
Donkey Kong?
Yeah, they're not. But he said, he was explaining how he did the voice, and he said that he essentially crashed the audition because they were done for the day, and he came in and he said the character pitch was you're an Italian American plumber from Brooklyn or whatever, and he was like, well,
You're Chris Pratt.
Yeah, everyone knows what that voice
All toasters,
Yeah.
toast.
would probably be. And he was
Yeah.
like, well, everyone else is going to have done that. So he just went like really exuberant with it. And he basically defined that, like, no one told him to do a voice like that. That's just what he did. And then that's now what Mario sounds like for everyone. And he's done such an incredible job of creating, it's almost worked against him in a way, or worked very well, in that the voice is so imitable that everyone does a Mario. Everyone's got a Mario impression. And so, because most of us, apart from the Super Sleuths on Twitter, saw the Super Mario Bros. Wonder trailer and didn't think any different, they are going to be very competent. There's already clearly one person who's competent enough by Nintendo standards
We could do it.
to do Mario to a high enough quality that they could step in and fill the shoes of Charles Martinet. So it's not like it's a very specific voice that only he can do.
Yeah.
You know, he's done such an amazing job of defining Mario's voice that it's iconic. Everyone can do this voice, but someone is good enough to do it full time. And that's good at least. It's not like, oh, it doesn't sound like him anymore. Although some people could hear it.
I'm happy with them to replace him with someone else. I just don't want everyone to find out that, like, oh, it's not actually someone else. It's just a soundboard.
Just
Yeah.
watch it.
Charles.
The next game will be Mario and Luigi will be like, oh, geez, Mario. And Mario will go, oh, Luigi. That's what's going to happen. Justin, please.
Stop. For God's
Who
sake.
let you back in?
Please, no, Justin.
Get out of here.
We gotta go to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Luigi, we're going
Luigi.
to... I can't do a Rick at all. Can't do it.
But yeah, fortunately, Mario will live on, and it's a voice that can be done well, and that's good. I think it has already been confirmed that it is a new person doing the voice,
Right.
so it's not. a
Yeah, it's
soundboard.
not. I think they have said it's not. Gonna
That's
be
good.
Apart from the Daily Mail, boo,
Boo,
who when
hate
I was
this guy.
Googling for stories to find out a bit more about this when it was happening, they were one of the only places that said Chris Pratt to replace Mario.
Oh, God.
And then the article was it had some embedded tweets from clearly joke tweets.
Right.
People joking, saying, oh, imagine if they replaced him with Chris Pratt now. And Daily Mail just ran with that. Had sensationalist
It's
Sensational
not
BS.
going to be Chris Pratt
journalism.
because he's not going to want to do.
It's too expensive.
He's too expensive, and he's not going to want to do like 2 or 3 games a year where he has to come in and do a load of lines, just sort of random wahoos and, you know, little bits of and falling down cliffs and then go home. Like, he's not going to want to do that, and he's too expensive.
What's your favourite Mario noise? I was literally going to do the wah. It's my favourite one.
man.
He does lots of good noises though.
He does do lots of good noises.
Yeah, I'm going to need some time. There's too
I mean,
too many.
Wahoo is obviously iconic.
Yeah.
And Here We Go is good as
So Long
go.
Bowser is a
So long, Gay Bowser
is a classic
yeah.
one. It doesn't sound like that. I don't.
No, it
I
doesn't
don't.
really.
I don't know how people
So
hear it.
long,
Gay Bowser.
Gay
So
Bowser.
long, Gay Bowser. It's not what he says. So long, Gay Bowser. He extends the G. He extends the G, but he doesn't say that.
No.
He doesn't say it.
He does. Mario said, "Don't say gay."
No, Mario doesn't say that. He doesn't acknowledge sexuality.
Yeah.
Mario's smooth like a doll.
Like a
Pray
Ken
the
doll.
gay away.
He doesn't have access to such concepts.
No.
He can't imagine them.
No.
So anyway, rest in peace, Charles Martinet.
No, you can't say that.
Genuinely thought he'd died.
Oh my! I saw a tweet
The way
from
that
somewhere
it's
else.
written, the
Yeah.
image
Yeah.
that they put out, it looks so
I
serious.
think it was like pop
It's like a black
tings
and
or
white
whatever.
photo of him. Like, he's
I
not
didn't
dead.
see black and
He's
white,
not-
but I saw a picture of him and then Mario, and it was like Charles Martinet, iconic Mario voice. And I was like, oh my god, he's dead, he's died.
No.
But he hadn't died. He just got a job title change. That's all.
We hope you have a fantastic retirement, Charles Martinet, and enjoy your new made-up job.
Yeah.
I hope it's as fun as it sounds
Yeah.
because you deserve it. 30 years of playing Mario, nearly
Wow.
150 games.
Well, Well, I will
since
just say,
1991.
Wow.
you do make a good point though about it being fortunately sort of imitable in a way, because Wallace for a long time was
no one
replaced
could do a
by
Wallace.
someone who was doing a good job, but it still was not. It was clearly not Wallace, and he's trained apparently for a long time.
He's been to Wallace
and
School.
he's been to Wallace School, and now he's a lot better. But like if you listen to, it was like in one of the games, Project Zoo or something, you could tell it wasn't him, and then he's done a more recent thing, and it's like, oh, it sounds like.
There are people out there who can do amazing impressions. I remember the Back to the Future game, the Telltale one. The guy they got to do the voice of Marty McFly was spot on, like eerily similar.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive. And I'm citation needed. I don't even think he was an actor. He was just really good at this impression,
Right.
and they brought him in to do it, and he did a fantastic job. He probably is an actor. That's probably quite rude to him. Anyway, we're moving on to a new section now, aren't we, Ashton?
We are, just for this week, in honor of Gamescom. It's What We Playin.
It's What We Play in time. Time to talk about the games, what we have been playing. Peter Austin, what have you been playing, please?
I have, I think, almost finished Death Bulge, Battle of the Bands, and I've been enjoying it very much. So that's been good. And I also went back to Crash Bandicoot and finished all of the flipping inverted levels where it's all weird. And some of them
Nice.
make you feel sick because they're just like not just cell shaded where there's a black outline around everything, but almost a bit like inked. But with inked stuff,
Yes.
it's just drawn onto the model, and when they move around, it still just stays in the same place. But just depending on where like peaks and troughs and bits of texture are, then bits of like black line will just appear and then go away in one of the filters. And I just felt kind of unwell. I think it's meant to be, they sort of thematically tie them to whatever the time period you're in. So there's like a jazzy level, and that all goes all old-timey and sort of honky-tonk, and all the music changes to just a piano. And that's just like black and white film effect. But the dinosaur world, I think it's meant to be like cave paintings. And so everything looks like it's stone texture and then made with like charcoal and... Oh, God, it was just a bit much. But I've done them all now, and that was actually the first time I played some of those, because the first time I played the game originally, I didn't even really try those at all. So I have now had enough of that game. But I was kind of I've been filling, really. I've mostly been playing Death Bulge, but like when I've been sitting on the sofa wanting to just play a game, I've just gone back to that because, as I said last week, I'm kind of just waiting till payday now to be able to buy one of those expensive modern £70 games. I don't have £70 right now that I can
What's
spend
top of the
on.
list?
I don't know actually. I've not.
Immortals of Aveum.
Yes, that's it. That's the one.
Thank you, by the way. Oh, no, that's not happened yet. I'm skipping ahead. We're going to do that in Review Corner.
Spoilers.
I thought we'd just done it. And I was like, oh,
Right.
God, I need to say thank you to Ashton for the Review Corner.
No.
Thank you to Ashton for the review corner we're about to hear.
We're
You're
about to do
welcome.
a
Can't
review
wait to
corner
tell
in a
you
minute.
all about it.
Yeah.
It's worth £70, though, yeah?
Yeah. Is it actually £70 game though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is.
Right. Okay.
No, it's not.
No, it's
Spoilers,
not.
Ashton.
Spoilers. Yeah, come on. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, you'd think that me just sort of like running down the clock to the end of the month, I might have decided by now what I'm going to buy, but I hadn't even got as far as thinking
Well,
about
have you got, what, 3 days till payday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this week,
so
isn't
you've got
it?
3 days to
So
decide.
we've got 3 days to
No
decide.
excuse. We
No
best hear about a
excuse.
brand new
to be
£70
fair,
game next week.
The
Peter.
game that I wanted to play next actually might not be £70 because it's Chia is what I wanted to
I
play.
don't think that's
probably
£70.
not £70. It
No.
better not be because it's probably not big enough
I
to be
think
£70.
I
but
think it's only, I want to say even 30 or less.
probably is. And actually, if I'd thought about it, maybe I could have spared £30.
Just get a
and
month of
bought
extra.
Chia. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
month of
probably
extra.
actually
could get a month of
cheaper.
it. Yeah, it's probably worth doing.
like 11 quid or whatever.
So, or even I've still never tried flipping the Xbox thing that's escaping me, Game Pass. I've never
Yes.
tried it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I could play that on PC and
And if
play
you,
all sorts of things.
well, if you pay for it this month, you get Starfield.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in fact, that will be the next £70 game that I buy, Starfield. But obviously, I'm not going to wait until that
But
comes out.
hey, You could just get Game
Yeah,
Pass for
don't
a
do
tenner.
that.
Could just
Remember
And
when we
there
were
you go.
talking? Remember when we were saying, who's going to buy stuff?
Who's gonna
Was
buy
that going to
it?
be
Not
you? Are
us.
you going to do
Are
it?
you
I'm
gonna
not.
buy
I'm not
Starfield,
because I'm gonna.
Peter?
Fortunately,
This nerd.
Weird.
Fortunately, it's going to be available on PC. But if if Xbox had bought Bethesda and said, and we're only releasing on Xbox consoles now and not PC, then I'd have been in trouble. But fortunately, PC comes to the rescue.
You're all good with PC.
Yeah. So maybe the next big game I'll buy probably will be Starfield.
You're gonna buy Starfield.
with money.
Sorry, next big game
Gross.
I play will probably be Starfield.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe when payday comes, I'll buy Chia
Yeah.
Nice.
or something.
Lovely stuff.
Don't know. What have you been playing, Ashton?
I've played one thing I'm going to tell you about in just a minute.
Yeah.
Keep
What is
figuring out
it?
what it's going to be.
What is it?
Not worth £70.
And I've also played some more Spiritfarer. I've just been having a nice time with that game. It makes me sad sometimes, and
Has
it's
it made you particularly sad?
well, it did almost make me cry last week. I think I talked about it last week.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes I'm like, oh, this is really nice, and then I remember that these people are all dead.
No.
They're all dead, and I'm having to like take them to the afterlife. But I didn't realize until I googled it that like they all have, like you can figure out how they died and what killed them. Like from people have like tried to take like context clues. Like one of the characters always smoking and says that she got really sick, so people think, oh, she got lung cancer. By the end of one of the characters, the hedgehog, she gets all forgetful and confused, and they think, oh, she died of like Alzheimer's or dementia and stuff. So it's really interesting, and I've really enjoyed playing that. I've also played something else, but I'll tell you about that in just a minute after we find out what Ben's been playing this week.
Oh, how exciting. I've played more.
Diablo 4.
Yes,
yeah.
I've played more Diablo. I'm really close to the end of that game now. I did spend about 15 hours just running around doing side quests, and there's still a million side quests to do. But I forged ahead with like the last little bit of the story last night, and I think it seemed like I killed a pretty significant person, but then it said, oh, there's another main mission for you. So I've still got a little bit of that to go. I had the pleasure of hosting some family members over the weekend, and we played lots of party games, including a bit of Drawful. Everyone loves Drawful.
Yeah.
That's the good one. We played Mario Kart 8.
Wahoo.
That's good fun. Wahoo indeed. We played Mia and the Dragon Princess.
Brilliant.
We played Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus.
Yeah.
And we played Man of Medan. The Dark Pictures,
There's
the
a
first
new
one.
Wales Interactive's coming out soon.
Yes, there is. The
Oh.
hotel one.
Yeah, how
we're
exciting.
hopefully on the list to get that.
I'm so excited. We're not in it, but that,
No.
maybe soon at some
Soon.
point. However, I would like to once again talk up the virtues of share play, which is a feature that PlayStation has, and I haven't had to use it in quite some time. However, one of my family members is currently in Japan, and that is where they are living currently. And because they were unable to attend this particular gathering, I was able to use SharePlay. And in Japan, they were watching live as we were playing through all of these narrative games together, and Drawful. They were able to join Drawful too. But their internet isn't the best out there. But with Man of Medan, at one point, when it was their character's turn, they were even able to take control of that character.
Wow.
So I was playing it in my living room in Newcastle. It was being beamed to Japan, where controller inputs were put in Japan, beamed back to my console, and then a character was moving around on my screen.
Amazing.
And I just thought, this is unbelievable.
Modern technology,
How cool is that? They couldn't be there, but they were still able to be a part of things. And I thought that was amazing, because otherwise it's just like go on FaceTime and point the phone at the screen, or do a private YouTube stream that's 15 seconds delayed.
What's
or
the
whatever.
time difference in Japan?
8 hours ahead where they
Okay.
are.
And yet the game had less than 8 hours delay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They were playing it the following day.
Wow.
But yeah,
That's
I was
crazy.
I still can't
From the
get over
future.
how amazing share play is, and I don't feel like enough people talk about it, and I want to keep talking about it because I'm scared that PlayStation will just stop doing it at some point, because it was a game changer on PS4. I used it all the time, and now especially when you've got loved ones living abroad and they want to play games with you, and you can do that, especially with these narrative games as well. I just think it's incredible.
I tried to use it once. I just could not get it to work. It just wouldn't.
Really?
It was just real chugging along. But
That's
to be
a
fair,
shame.
that was like 18 months or so ago now. So
Right.
It's definitely down to upload speed and
Yeah.
download speed and stuff. And they did say, to be fair, that especially Man of Medan, which is a very dingy, dark game, you basically couldn't, it was like a 360p stream at
Yeah.
times, but it was enough. It was instantaneous enough where we could have them on the phone and talk to them, and they were able to see what was going on and, you know, be a part of stuff. And that was really good. So share play is amazing, and I love it a lot. So that's what I played this weekend.
Thanks for telling us about that, Ben.
You're
Would you like to know what I've been playing? Should we head over to Review Corner and find out?
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome everybody to the Review Corner. Ooh, how exciting. Ashton, you've been playing a video game, haven't you?
I have played about 6 hours of Immortals of Aveum. Sometimes they say it differently in the game. It is the FPS spellcasting game that was released by EA this week, and I got a little bit of an early access to it and played a bit of it this week, which I have mixed feelings towards.
Okay. Well, before we get into the mixed feelings, we have to say that per ASA guidelines.
Oh yes, of course.
This video is technically an ad because we were gifted the code. However, no financial compensation. There was no financial compensation in exchange for coverage. We're just going to be talking about the game. However, in the past, we have received financial compensation for promoting Immortals of Aveum, which you may have seen on the channel a couple of times. This is totally separate to that. They just gave us a code to play and cover. So there we are.
Right. So let me tell you about this game. So you play as Jack, who is a little street urchin.
Whoa.
That's what they say in
Little
Aladdin.
street rat.
That's what they say in Aladdin. Street rat.
They do.
And him and his family, which are all a bunch of kind of orphan children, live on a shanty town that's like fastened below a bridge. So it's like this big tall bridge, and they all live in this like these shacks that are kind of stapled to the legs of this bridge, basically. It's very Final Fantasy VII slums.
Okay.
In the way that it looks, and they're kind of like placed over this thing called the Void, which is like ever expanding. Like there's these purple like lurg things that they're all over the town, and they're like, we don't know why it's happening, but they can't do anything about it. And every person, when they reach the age of 16, gets drafted to join the Everwar, which is a war between two magical like groups. There's the Immortals, who are trying to, you know, use their magic to protect the world, and then there's another guy called Sandrak, who works for someone called Rashawn or Rashan, something like that, who is they're the bad guys. They want to take over the world, basically. Or at least that's what we're led to believe.
Right.
And so when they're 16, they have to join the Everwar, and one of Jack's mates she's going to go join the Everwar, and he's very upset about it. But then there's a big raid, and some stuff happens, and it turns out that Jack can wield all three kinds of magic.
Classic.
Blue, green, and red.
Those are the three flavors.
Those are the three flavors. Literally the three flavors.
Okay.
And then, once you find that out, you're thrown into what I would call the tutorial void, where...
The tutorial void.
Yes, where you're in like this big void, and you basically go through collecting your three main spells and a couple of like additional bits. And for a good maybe like 40 minutes, you're just doing this stuff, learning about all of the mechanics. It throws a lot at you. It's no kind of like gradual progression. Like you start being able to wield blue magic, which is pistol, and then you eventually and then you get red magic, which is shotgun, and then you get green magic, which is machine gun. It's very much like, here's this, and then you do a little bit, here's this, and you do a little bit, and then here's this.
Okay.
And there's like various abilities, so you can use up mana to do kind of like wave-based spells, so like one that brings up rocks from the ground, one that's like a barrage of like green missiles and stuff. It's very much an FPS, but they've like slapped magic on instead.
Okay.
My only issue with the FPS is that it's way too close. Like it's like he's walking around like a T-Rex.
Okay.
Because his hand is like right in your peripheral vision. Like his arms kind of aren't far enough away. Your FOV is so small, and there's absolutely no like changes you can make to the display or the video. There's no quality of performance mode, there's no FOV slider, there's literally nothing.
Right.
You go in display and it's like, would you like to turn on the HUD a bit smaller, a bit bigger? And you're like, oh thanks, that's it, that's all I get.
Okay.
So there's no accessibility options either, really, that I found, apart from subtitles, which I think is a bit rubbish in this day and age. But anyway, it's still very close. I sometimes find it hard to see where the enemies are because they kind of blend into the environment. And I also never know when I'm being shot. Like, it doesn't make it clear that you're being hurt, and then suddenly your bar goes like down all the way to the bottom, because it's kind of like got a little delayed reaction. So when you get hit, it doesn't immediately go down.
Okay.
It like, you get hit and then it will slide down.
Oh, right. One of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can never tell when I'm being hit. Like, there's no kind of like markers on my map to be like, you're being shot from the left. You've got like a compass at the top which shows you where the enemies are. But I just can never tell when I'm being hit. And I'm like, oh, I've got no health. Cool, that's fine. So there is issues with it. I think like the game's very pretty. Some of the animations in the cutscenes when you're talking to other characters are a bit wonky, but visually looks great. There is no physics on the fruit though. So when you shoot a carton of potatoes, they just stay as they are. There's no like potato scattering, which is so shame. And yeah, I mean, the magic's pretty interesting. You can obviously change like what your equipment is to get better and stats and stuff. I personally think there's way too many stats. I'm also very confused because I managed to get one like spell gun that's like double equipped. I have got 2 things equipped, but for everything else I can only have 1, and I don't really know why.
Okay.
But for the most part, like it's an interesting enough like concept. There's like a story, a bit of a conspiracy that's going on, but I honestly, the issue I have with it is it's just not very interesting. Like it's not grabbed me really at all. Like the gameplay is fine and it's fun for a bit, but it feels very repetitive, and the story is fine, but I'm not really that involved. The characters are like a decent mix of people, but again, it doesn't really feel like anyone's taking anything seriously.
Okay.
Like,
I was going to ask what the dialogue was
yeah,
like.
so Jack is really annoying as a protagonist. Right at the beginning of the game, you're talking to this character and she says something like, oh, when life gives you eggs, make omelets. And he's like, what's an omelet? And I'm like, what? What?
He
And I
has
know
no
that
idea
you're like poor. I get that.
The concept of omelets.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so confused.
I've also never heard that phrase before.
Me neither. No, I haven't either. But then like you can like choose dialogue options sometimes, but again, like every game, it's never exactly what it's like, why didn't you tell me that? And he's like, why didn't you tell me that? I deserve to know. And I'm like, that wasn't the energy I thought we were going to bring into this. But yeah, he's just kind of annoying. And like sometimes people are making jokes and I'm like, according to you, the world's literally ending. Like you've been at war for like hundreds of years. And you're like, they're called the Immortals because they basically like, from what I can gather, they can't die. They go through this like door, they pass the test, and then they can't die of old age, at least I don't think. So yeah, it's weird. It's not that interesting in terms of like the gameplay itself. I can see what they were going for, but it just doesn't really feel like it nails anything. I think it's going to get lost among the sea of games that are coming out at the moment. I think that like if you're looking for a first person shooter game that's like a narrative driven single player game, then give this one a go. I mean, it's very much average like shooting mechanics of there's 3 different guns that you can equip. They all have different abilities, and then there's like a whip thing where you can like bring people forward to get closer to you so you can use your shotgun and stuff. So there is like interesting mechanics, and you can like kind of chain things together to make the combat interesting. But I just found myself just spamming shoot and just getting through it that way. I've not really had any issues with terms of like the combat difficulty so far. I'm playing it on like regular, like recommended. But yeah, I just think it's not that interesting. And that's a shame because like I say, it's an interesting concept.
It's a new IP as well.
It's a new IP.
Nice.
Yeah. I just feel like I don't really see what the vibe is. Like we're not like, oh, we're at war. It's very, solemn and
tonal dissonance.
Yeah, it does feel a bit like that because like even when people are like dying, you've kind of not got enough time to like register it before you're like, well, anyway, back to it. This bedroom used to be owned by a fisherman. Sorry if it smells like fish in there. And I'm like, what? Lol.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I also missed a trophy that I like can't get without restarting the whole game, so that's annoying. Right. Because I didn't talk to everyone at the party.
You should have talked. What you always talk to everyone.
I didn't want to talk to everyone at the party because everyone talks way too much.
But he could have said something funny about the fisherman's house.
He could have done. But yeah, I think that like it's got its pros, but it's also got its cons, and I think unfortunately it's a bit forgettable.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
I'm
shame.
already off it.
You don't intend to finish it.
Probably not. There's too much coming out.
Yeah.
And I've started playing House Flipper again. Because I'm not interested by it.
Yeah.
So I'm just building houses instead.
Such a shame. Hopefully it finds its audience.
Yeah.
And, it's a cutthroat world in video games, so it's unlikely, it being a new IP, that we will get a sequel. That they get to iterate and maybe develop some of the weaker areas.
Yeah.
So that could be it. We may just never hear about this game ever again.
We may never hear about it again.
And that's a real shame. But that game is available now. Thank you to EA for providing us with the code for
Sorry,
that.
I didn't like it that much.
That's all right. And before we get back to the actual podcast, something we forgot to plug at the beginning is that there is a huge list, the biggest video we've ever done, coming out tomorrow on the channel.
Yeah.
That being, and it's titled, A Solid 24 Hours of Video
Well, actually,
Game
it'll
Lists.
already be out. It's coming out tonight at time of recording.
It's on Sunday.
Is it?
I think so.
You said Friday. Oh, no,
What?
you did say Sunday.
I did say Sunday.
You're right.
So that's so accusatory. Hang on,
Sorry,
what the
I
hell?
thought you said Friday.
No, it's Sunday. It's coming out on Sunday, okay? Don't listen to her. Listen to me.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's coming out on Sunday at 6 p.m. And it is exactly what it says. It's 24 hours worth of our back catalogue of list content. So if you like falling asleep, with a video
you like
on,
falling asleep.
If you like falling asleep with a video on, because I know a lot of people do, and they just sort of leave the videos running or have it on in the background, that will be the perfect one. You can now properly stick by the age-old adage of just one more video before bed, and just stay up for a
24 hours straight,
just a cool 23 hours 59 minutes.
Yeah.
So go check that out on Sunday and slowly work your way through that. Right, let's go back to the podcast then.
Yes, let's. It's time now for question 2.
Wow, what a great review corner,
Thanks,
Ashton. Thanks, Ashton.
No problem. You're welcome. This comes from David
Thanks,
Lever.
Ashton.
You're welcome.
Great review corner.
All right, hedgy wedgies. The gaming sphere is always full of rumours and alleged leaks about unannounced stuff, like recently with Switch 2 details or before any big conference. How do you personally gauge whether you trust a rumour/leak, and how much stock do you put in such things? Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Certainly with a leak, if it's like actual video of stuff or images, ideally I don't really want to see stuff like that. Certainly not for a game that I'm really excited about, because normally it's like, I don't want to see it till it's ready. But if I do see something like that, you can kind of sort of work it out sometimes whether something just looks fake, because particularly still images, there are loads of people just throwing together a load of rubbish in Photoshop. So you have to be careful with stills. When it's video, it's it's probably more likely to be true, because I think fewer people would try and, or less people would try and fake video of a game in progress, but they might do. So for example, when that GTA stuff leaked, it was kind of obvious that it probably was from a game that was in development, and why couldn't it be GTA? But in terms of rumors and news, I think really it's just got to come down to the source, hasn't it? Whether someone has got previous. There are some people who are kind of almost professional leakers, or
leak verifiers.
Mm.
Leak
verifiers.
They're the antithesis of plumbers.
Yes, indeed. That's what they're for. They're for making
Great
leaks.
word.
Thank you.
Antithesis.
Yes.
Thank you.
But essentially there are some journalists who just have some reliable inside sources who give them stuff that maybe even has actually been allowed to come out by the publisher or the developer in question as a little bit of a tidbit, maybe make this look like a juicy bit of news so that people get excited about it, but we're actually almost giving you this as a press release. Sometimes it is more of a leak and it's not supposed to be out. But it's got to come down to whether someone has got previous for either having a good track record or if they're a serial faker. And that pretty much is how I verify or at least guess whether a leak can be verified or not. Ashton.
Yeah, it's all about credibility, whether the things they've said before even are true. Obviously, they're not going to hit the nail on the head all the time, but if there's kind of a consistent this is true or this worked out being correct, then maybe I'm more likely to believe them. There's like one specific Twitter account, and it's a French Twitter account that always announces the PlayStation Plus games early, and he's always right every single time. So whenever I see like, oh, it's been leaked, I'm like, if it's this guy, I know it's going to be true, because they always seem to know it ahead of time. But for the most part, I don't put much stock in like rumors, especially for things like games conferences, because there's maybe the odd thing that's been announced that comes true, like the odd one announcement. What was it last? There was something for Summer Game Fest or something this year where they were like, oh, this is definitely going to be there. And then they came out and they were like, you maybe already know about this, but
oh god,
I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was Mortal Kombat.
It was talked about for so long beforehand that I didn't even realize it had been leaked.
Because it was one where they had a guy on, like someone to talk about it. It wasn't Alan Wake. It wasn't whatever.
It was Honky Star Rail.
It was Honky Star Rail, probably. But there was something this year, but I can't remember what game it was for. That was announced. Like people were like, "Oh, it's this."
Yeah.
And then obviously it did come true. And I think that there's maybe the odd one thing per conference that maybe comes out ahead of time that is true. But for the most part, you can't put much stock in that, because if you do, you're just going to get your hopes dashed. You're going to get disappointed.
Yeah.
So I don't really care that much about leaks and rumors until they're like verified, or at least there's enough evidence to prove that they are true. Unless they come from someone who is pretty credible. But even then, they've always got to take everything with a pinch of salt, because they may have been fed fake information to Wagatha Christie this information out, you know?
Yeah. Or maybe what they're told is true, but we just don't see it there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or things change. Someone might leak something, you know, in
is
January,
correct.
and then 6 months later, internally, they've said, "Oh, I'm not going to do that anymore." And that leaker's like, "Oh, great. Well, that's ruined my
leaking,
my track record." Yeah.
My favorite kind of leaks, in inverted commas, are the ones that precede showcases and things, where it's a slightly blurry photo taken of a screen at an angle, and it's like PlayStation summer showcase running order, and
it's like a Word doc.
It's a Word doc, and it's got like the most fantasy nonsense you've ever seen on it, like The Last of Us 3. It's like, nope, that's not going to stop it. Usually you can look at those and go, that's bollocks. But it works because people want to see that stuff and they want to believe it's real. My friend, before the summer showcase, actually, for PlayStation in May, my friend sent this to our group chat and said, "You're welcome," all smuggler. And I was like, that's bollocks.
Yeah.
It had on it Twisted Metal, Astro's Conquest, Half-Life Alyx, Killzone, Ghost of Kamakura, like all these just sequels that they were just like, this could happen.
Yeah.
I want this, so why not? As well as some really safe bets that I think were guaranteed to be there, like Spider-Man 2 and stuff. People love this stuff and people share this stuff, and it's so easy. It's a wider issue on the internet with misinformation anyway.
Yeah.
Most recently, my friend sent me a link to a TikTok, and on it, there was a conversation between two guys, and one of them said, "Did you know Mario's not actually saying it's a me Mario, he's saying it's Sumi Mario, which means my name is Mario." And he was like, "Oh man, that's really disappointing." And he sent it to me and said, Did you know about this?" And all it took was like one Google. It's like, it's not true. That's just not true.
He's saying it's a me, gay Bowser.
He's saying gay Bowser Mario is what he's saying. But people love to share this stuff, and less reputable websites will just run this stuff.
Yeah.
It's always important that you look at the source in the article, no matter how sensationalist it is, like that BS Daily Mail thing, where it's like Chris Pratt to replace Charles Martinet, and you look at it, and actually there's no evidence of that at all. They've just embedded tweets and run with a headline. You always got to look at the source, because if you can click through it yourself and it's just some guy on Twitter with no followers saying, "Oh, by the way, Half-Life 3 is getting announced at Gamescom this year."
Yeah.
It's like, that's just... And then several small sites will just run with that as a headline based on nothing, and people will believe it, and people will share it, which will force bigger websites to then cover it as well, just so that they get the clicks. But they will always, if they're a website that's worth their salt, they will always say, by the way, there's this rumor, but
Yeah.
It's not
It's
true.
probably it's highly unlikely to be true.
That's the thing. Like, I follow a couple of accounts and like the subreddit and stuff for if there's ever going to be another Spyro game. I'm always looking out for another Spyro game. And occasionally someone will go on 4chan and they'll just do a post saying, right, I'm going to do it. Here's all the details on Spyro Treasure Trove.
My
And-
uncle works at Spyro.
And they do all these bullet points saying like Sergeant Bird is back and also his wife is in it. And it's just all this
He has
like
a wife?
no, he doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It's all this ridiculous stuff
His
where
wife
like
died?
yeah,
Oh
his
my
wife is
God,
dead.
while he was away at war.
His ghost wife
Oh my
is
God.
in the Spyro 4.
Miss Bird.
Miss
Um,
Bird.
and some people just post it and say, OMG, Spyro 4 confirmed.
Yeah.
And others say, all right, like, it's kind of my job as a Spyro News Roundup person to cover this, but be aware, it's just someone on 4chan. So I'm going to like point you towards it, but it's probably not true. And that's fine if you're a kind of a video game news, I guess specifically about a certain franchise and stuff. If you're doing roundups of news and things and rumors, it's okay to share that stuff if you say, here is the source, and the source is probably not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only leaks that I think are funny, I suppose that's not the right word, are the ones where they post actual military schematics in the Reddit.
Yeah.
That's the
to
best kind.
stop sharing tank schematics on
Those
the
are
World
funny.
of Tanks subreddit.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? Actually, the stats are wrong because I work for the government
Yeah.
and here they are.
I built this
Here's
tank.
the
Here's how
blueprint.
you can take it
Oh
apart.
my God, nerds, am I
It's
right?
good stuff.
You can't really see one of the dimensions on here. It's underneath a stamp that
You know
says
what? Actually,
classified.
let me just show you. Let me.
Property of the United States government.
Yeah.
Jeff Grubb, Jason Schreier,
Jason Schreier.
few
was the
accounts
one
on
who said,
Twitter.
yeah.
Like there are people with good track records who have actual sources. A lot of the time, as you said with the GTA thing, you can look at it and go, "That's quite clearly early work in progress video game."
Yeah.
Don't know if it's actually GTA or not. You wait for a Jason Schreier to say, "Yeah, my sources are telling me this is right," and then
Yeah.
you know for sure. People will just share headlines. That's a problem with the internet. But a little bit of common sense and actually just looking at the source, you can usually tell if
We wait for
something's nonsense.
Kotaku to share the video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And get in trouble with the
Yeah.
publisher,
They love that.
not get sent codes.
Right, come on, guys. It's time to do something strange,
Speaking of Kotaku.
I'm sick of us not doing strange things here. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's fair enough.
Yeah, hitting the headlines in a strange way, right?
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It's time for weird news.
It's weird news time. Time for some. You with us, Peter? It's time for some.
Yeah, just a load of my weird news.
Time for some weird video game
Wow.
news. If you want to send us weird video game news, you can do
Drama.
so. Ashton, you can do so under the relevant post that goes out on Facebook and Twitter on a Tuesday. So they haven't had a lot of time to submit weird
No.
news this week. And apologies to everyone who submits the weird news that will inevitably follow tonight's opening night live when someone rushes the stage again. And what am I trying to say? If you want to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast,
Yeah.
however, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, support us at the relevant tier and become a podcast producer just like.
My Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. Duo Goliath.
Nicole Hansen.
Duncan Wilson,
Katie Garrett or Jared.
Eric Siu.
Melody Elbonet,
Nexus Polaris.
Gabrielle Philippink.
Blake Thomas.
And Potato_Shack99. Is that a new one?
That's
It
a
is
new
a new
one.
one.
New one.
Thank you, podcast producers.
Thank you, podcast
Welcome,
producers.
Potato Shack 99. Peter, you got some weird news.
I've got some weird news. Talking of people rushing the stage, someone's rushed the stage somewhere.
not
not
another
opening night
one?
live, not yet. Well, you say another
Another
one.
one?
I thought this was an old story that had just been republished, but it's not.
Okay.
This was sent by Lloyd Williams on Facebook, top fan.
Top fan.
Congratulations, Little Lloyd.
It's according to Kotaku.com, and they say, no, that's not it. That's Overwatch 2 streams are brutal or something, which is from a previous weird news. It's according to PCGamer.com.
Oh, suck it, Kotaku.
And it was sent by a different top fan, which is what confused me, Josh Lees. Thank you, Josh Lees,
Thank you,
top
Josh.
fan.
Two top fans being top fans.
Yeah. Harvey Randall wrote this on PC Gamer. Desperate GTA fan erupts onto unrelated TV show in quest for GTA 6 info, gets doused by a water bottle. The truth is out there, it
Like
says.
a naughty cat.
So this happened already. Remember? Someone went on a stage and asked about GTA 6.
Yeah. Wasn't it Spanish or something? Like
German.
German.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
It did.
All I'm
Like
thinking
last year.
is the Minecraft one, whatever it was. The guy who bought shares in
No,
No,
that was
someone on
Splatoon.
live TV.
Splatoon. Okay.
Someone
This
on
is-
live TV,
Right.
I think it was live, ran on
Yeah.
stage in Germany and said about GTA 6. And the guy in German said to him, I don't know, I've still not finished GTA 5 yet.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 6 was announced way back in February 2022, though there's been precious little info since then, bar a series of leaks later in the year. Rockstar Games itself has been hush-hush on the details, only really promising that it needs to be something you've never seen before. One fan has searched for the truth in a unconventional way by walking onto the set of a completely unrelated TV show and begging the German public to please give him some information on GTA 6, as posted to Twitter/X, it says, by user Michael Charcoal.
Charcoal.
The superfan, sporting nothing but a beanie and raw determination. That implies he
Nothing
was...
but a
Wait, he was
beanie.
naked.
No, he was not naked. He had a black hoodie on, which is the same thing he was wearing when he did the same stage invasion
Oh my
last time.
god, he's a serial stage invader.
It appears to be the same man. It appears
He
to be the
needs
same man.
to
in the
get
same outfit.
alive.
He
Just
does.
give him the details.
Sporting nothing but a beanie and raw determination, dick out, strode onto the set of Doppelpass to petition its hosts for insider info. Doppelpass is a German TV show that covers the Bundesliga football league, not exactly where you'd go for insider information about a yet unreleased video game. The set invader, who postures like he's about to give a TED talk, is quickly derailed by a bystander who dumps a bottle of water on him, dousing the burning fire of his enthusiasm with 500 milliliters of H2O.
Oh my god,
Wow.
PC Gamer they've really got their like fiction writer to write this one.
Let's see if you remember this. This is the old one.
How does he keep doing this?
He's
So
like,
that's the first one that happened last time.
He really scared the woman there.
Yeah.
he did.
well,
I mean, fair enough.
understandable. If a
Yeah.
man started running at me, I'd also squeal a little bit and run away.
Yeah.
How do you get away with that?
This isn't even the first time he's done this. Back in 2021, this man strode onto the set of Germany's Beat the Star, Schlag den Raab,
Great.
to ask, where the hell is GTA 6? The host handled it a little more graciously, simply responding, I don't need that. I haven't beaten 5 yet, before the interloper was escorted off stage. It then continues with some filler, but he's done this.
Wow.
And when I was looking this up on Twitter, he's seemingly done it a third time before this one, in between the two, on some interview where a woman is wearing like a weird jungle crap. She looks like she's just one I'm a Celebrity, but they're in a studio, so I don't know what it is. It's in Germany.
Is he a comedian? Is it going to turn out that this man is a comedian?
He's either
Or
a
just
comedian
an
or
influencer
he might
type.
have mental health problems.
In which case, Germany's a futuristic. What am I trying to say?
developed.
Is a
Yeah.
developed nation. Surely this man would have been identified as a risk at this point.
Kind of
Yeah.
niche mental health problem to have.
It is that like how
GTA
is he,
6 syndrome.
It's just GTA 6.
but how is he getting into
Access.
TV studios and then getting as far as up onto the stage? Like how is this
Yeah.
happening?
So he's done it 3 times
Like
now.
it looks like 3 times. There's this jungle one where it's again a guy in a black hoodie. And
Wearing nothing but a beanie.
yeah. And it's seemingly the same guy. So I think he might have done it 3 times.
Wow. Well, it's on a mission.
Damn.
I have some news.
Go on.
Comes from Steven Skodes and Jonathan Wong, top fan. From Nintendo Life. Random. Someone has digitally preserved the Super Mario Oreo cookies. Because why not?
They've traditionally
No, digitally.
Oh, they're traditionally
digitally preserved.
Okay.
How does that work, Ashton? Tell us.
Earlier this year, Nintendo entered into collaboration with the confectionery brand Oreo to create a batch of Super Mario themed Oreo cookies. There are 16 designs released, including the likes of Mario himself, Bowser, Princess Peach, Boo, Fireflower, and many more.
Gay Bowser.
The game Bowser. The thing about cookies, however, is that they will either turn to mush in the acidic pit of our stomachs, or they're doomed to remain locked away in their packets, slowly growing more and more mouldy with each passing year until they become nothing more than the very last resort for a group of starving survivors of the apocalypse. Or if they're in our office, the packet will be opened and then left open forever.
I just had a great thought. I bought some when I was getting excited about Fallout 4 before that came out in 2015. Oh my god, 8 years ago. They had a partnership with a beer brand, and I've got a 4-pack of Fallout branded beer that is long since expired.
Nuka beer.
At some point, we should drink one
Oh,
just to see how lumpy it is.
It wouldn't go lumpy, really.
We don't know, do we?
Depends what's
We'll
in it.
find out.
That's true.
We've got to make a video about that now.
So how can we preserve an oddity such as this? Why? By uploading 3D scans of each cookie onto the internet. And that's exactly what video game enthusiast and archivist at Mr. Tilda has done. His tweet is embedded. It says, I've 3D scanned all 16 limited edition Mario cookies designed for preservation's sake. Kind of makes you hungry, huh? To make the cookies scan ready, I spray painted them white. They are now forbidden poison cookies.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
The arrows of spray paint in white for 3D scan to work, essentially making the cookies inedible. A noble sacrifice, to be sure. Nevertheless, all 16 designs are now viewable via the Internet Archive. While this may seem a rather quaint endeavour at the time of writing, who knows? Maybe someday someone will stumble upon these in 50 years and marvel at the obscurity.
Or make them when we can 3D print food.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But they'll be covered in paint.
They will. Well, no.
Yeah.
I wonder how much he could have got for them if he.
They're not going to print them with paint on, are they?
Well, they might come out all
But
white.
that's how they were scanned.
So he scanned them.
That's not how that works.
It might
Is that
be.
what?
How do you know?
Well, we're talking about made-up sci-fi technology
Yeah.
here. Maybe
We
it
can
only
you can
prints
already-
food as paint.
Listen, you can already 3D print a pizza. Admittedly, it's not very appetizing and it's not very good.
True.
But imagine in 50 years when you can 3D print food reliably, if you have 3D scans of Mario cookies, you might be able to do that. I don't think, unless you want to put paint on them yourself. I don't know that they will have that.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
That is weird. My weird news comes courtesy of Gex at SnowyBoyYanio4 on Twitter. This is from Kotaku. You can unsuck it now, Kotaku, because you're back. Cyberpunk 2077 players protest Reddit by posting nudes.
Oh no.
It's sexy time again.
Oh, yeah.
Open world sci-fi RPG Cyberpunk 2077's biggest subreddit recently switched to NSFW with the explanation that the game it is focused on is a mature game filled with nudity and gore. However, Reddit allegedly demanded that mods of the subreddit quickly revert the change. The mods aren't complying, and users are now posting nude images of in-game characters as part of a protest to show why the subreddit deserves to be NSFW.
That's weird.
Since May, we all know about this, Reddit has been at war with its users and subreddits as the company clamps down on third-party apps and their ability to access the site's backend or API. It's not gone well for Reddit, leading to popular subreddits like r/bestof, sports, and music going dark. And as part of this ongoing backlash, some subreddits switched to NSFW. This designation is reserved mainly for porny subreddits, it says, and blocks ads from appearing, but also lets users freely post nudity and more adult content. Some mods and subreddits have used this designation to punch back at Reddit and its despised CEO, it says. Now the Cyberpunk 2077 subreddit has seemingly wandered into this mess. So basically, people are just uploading nude images of their avatars in game.
Fair.
They're posing tastefully. I
Yeah.
think it's a mixture of
Wearing nothing but a beanie.
nothing but a beanie in one of them. Yeah. As of July the 6th, the subreddit is chock-a-block with boobs and cock. It says. Some of these screenshots containing nudity come from the game, while others are fan art of the popular open world RPG or its related anime spin-off, Edging Runners. It's a buffet of NSFW content over there, so, and this really goes without saying, if you are at work or standing near random people on a subway car, maybe don't check the Cyberpunk 2077 subreddit today. Or do, I'm not your dad. So there we are.
Might be.
Yeah. How did they know that?
That might be my dad who wrote that. What's his name?
Zach.
Was it Zach?
It's Zach, yeah.
He could be
Wow.
your dad.
Could be a pseudonym.
Yeah.
Peter Zweisen.
Could be a pen name.
Yeah.
You got Germanic heritage.
Yeah.
Could be your dad.
Could be my dad.
Well, there we are. That's some weird news. It's time now to move on, without Peter Austin,
Yeah.
to the big discussion.
Bye.
It's the big discussion. The big discussion this week comes courtesy of Cameron K-Word. I've said that weird, haven't I? But I'm going to roll with it.
You didn't do your normally, it's the big discussion.
It's big discussion
Listen
time.
Time for the big discussion.
Time for the big discussion. How many different other ways could I say it? Big discussion. It's time for the big discussion. Courtesy of Cameron Keyword. Peter Austin has gone.
Yeah.
He's died.
He has.
Rest in peace, Tiny Peter.
Yeah.
Hi Bap, any thoughts on Gamescom? Bill Clinton wants GTA 6 and the Weeb section aside. I thought it was a decent showing. Kind regards, Cameron J. Keywood. Thank you, Cameron.
I asked the community about what their thoughts for Gamescom were.
Oh.
And about like 80% of the replies were, I didn't bother watching it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So
I wonder if the viewership did take a hit because Jeff's got a difficult task on his hands. He's got to balance getting people excited and wanting to watch, but also managing expectations.
Yeah.
And he did say several times on the lead up to Opening Night Live, just so you know, basically don't get excited.
I think he overcorrected. I
Maybe.
think like he kind of didn't give any, there was no hype. It was like the way over the edge. There was like, oh, don't get too excited. And suddenly it was like, well, I'm not going to bother watching then, Jeff. You've told us like 100 times. Yeah. You told us in the pre-show not to get excited.
Not to get excited, although that pre-show was something else.
Who was that man? Who was he? Kyle.
Kyle
with the big glasses.
In his living room doing weird stuff. I don't know who that man was.
I don't know who he was, but he literally couldn't even be bothered to put his like fairy liquid away.
It was
weird.
You could see it in the back. It was strange. I didn't pay close attention to it because we were setting up for the live reactions. But
I was watching it and I was like, surely someone must know who this man is.
Ashton just kept saying, who is this man?
And I kept asking everyone, like, who is he? And no one seemed to know who he was.
I'm doing stuff. I
still don't know who he was.
No. Maybe we should have found out.
Nah.
It's fine. We've got a big old list here of all the things that were shown / talked about at Opening Night Live on Wednesday. When was it?
Tuesday.
On Tuesday evening. So we're going to go through some of those now. Immediately, though, at the start of the show, and it's crazy because earlier in this podcast, which was recorded before Gamescom Opening Night Live, Peter brought some weird news about a German man who keeps running onto television shows,
and
live shows, and
GTA 6.
Asking for GTA 6 details. He did it here.
Yeah.
It's the same man.
It was like literally 2 hours after we recorded the podcast talking about GTA 6 man. Him and his weird friend ran onto the stage right after the first announcement or the first trailer and shouted, Bill Clinton wants GTA 6. And then Jeff just kept saying, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, there's a lot of developers here tonight. I want to commend Jeff for not just like
punching him
or like not getting physical at all because he could have just pushed him away. Because I would have been, if I were Jeff, I would have been bloody furious. And I know he is bloody furious.
I would have been scared
someone in our chat said, imagine if we just watched Jeff Keighley get stabbed on stage. Because the security there is not good enough. This keeps happening.
It does keep happening.
Fortunately, at Silver Lining, it happened right at the start of the show.
And Jeff tweeted afterwards saying that he will never bother anyone ever again.
And I hope he's killed him. I've got visions of Jeff, them holding him backstage. Like he's chained up to a wall.
Yeah.
And Jeff Keighley comes back with a crowbar.
And he's got like knuckle dusters that have all of the PlayStation like logo on it.
He beats him to death with a Game Award.
Yeah.
And you know what? He bloody deserves it. He doesn't, obviously. But that man needs to stop doing that.
He does.
And I do really feel sorry for Jeffrey because you could tell in the moment that he was gutted.
Yeah, and Todd Howard looked freaked out.
Oh, yeah, Todd Howard, who then said, I've never been to Gamescom before. It's like nearly got rushed on stage by a lunatic.
Yeah.
Thankfully that was the last of it. And he's been killed by Jeff.
Yeah,
so we'll never
he's
see him
dead
again.
now.
But we've got all sorts. We're going to slowly work through these. On the whole, I mean, we'll talk about it at the end. I thought the show was... I mean, we got drunk.
Well, yeah, I was drunk.
So I had a great time, but also can't really say I came away from this particularly excited about anything that I saw.
No, it got towards the end of it, and I said on the stream, I'm just not feeling like games for me anymore. It's that like thing that we keep joking about over the years. Nothing was really like... Gee, can't wait for that. Yeah. There was a few things that looking back on it, we'll go through it in a minute, I was actually kind of like, oh, that's great. I'm excited for that. But nothing was like, gasp worthy, apart from Honky Star Rail. Which did get an actual gasp from all three of us.
Yeah, the microphones completely peaked at that point because we were joking. Honky Star Rail is Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah.
Honky Star Rail is always at these shows.
Always.
And this is why it's not representative when you watch a Jeff showcase of whether or not it's an exciting time
to be a gamer
and to play games, is because it is literally which companies have opened their wallet to be there. And so it's not necessarily representative of the stuff that you probably are excited about, which is why Honky Star Rail is always there. And which is why we were joking about, come on, show Honky Star Rail. And then they showed Honky Star Rail and it was excited. There. And I'm never going to play it, but you know what? I hope it's at the
I'm
next one.
glad I
too.
got to see it.
Game Awards in December.
Yeah,
Honky
Star Rail.
Still there. Do you want to kick things off with the pre-show then?
Sure. There was a couple of, there was a bunch of games showed throughout Weird Kyle's pre-show. Streets of Rogue 2. I don't know if you've played the first one.
No.
It's like a pixel art kind of beat 'em up.
Okay, a bit like Streets of Rage then. I see what they did
kind
there.
of. That's coming 2024. I think this was an announcement for the game, but obviously didn't pay enough to get into the big show. Mandragora, cool name.
Yeah.
Side-scrolling RPG, which was also released in 2024, and Liz Fanger, the Time Shift Warrior, which we saw before, I think, at Future Games show or something along those lines during Summer Game Fest, not E3, which is also releasing 2024.
End Zone 2 will get early access in spring 2024. There's a new trailer for Bulletstorm VR, which I hadn't even heard of until someone in our chat was saying, I'm really disappointed that it's not a new Bulletstorm game. It's a VR game. So if you like Bulletstorm, you may want to look into that. A new trailer for Fae Farm, which I assume drops on September the 8th for Switch, but is out now on Steam?
No, I think it's both on Steam.
Oh, okay.
It's not out now on Steam. I don't think.
Right. Okay. Well, you've got a code for that.
I do have a code for it.
So
as of today.
Yeah, we'll look at that very soon on the channel. FMV. There's an FMV 1920s VR game. It's a VR game. All right.
It's called The Seventh Guest. It's like a Cluedo ghost hunting thing.
Love FMV games.
Well, maybe you have to just, dive on into your PlayStation VR.
But I want to share it with people. That's half the fun of VR games is sitting around and playing them together.
Yeah.
But, I didn't watch this pre-show, so a lot of this is news to me.
Yeah. There's another third-person horror game called Post Trauma, which did not stand out that much from anything else. PT. It's happening.
They're doing it again.
Spring 2024. And another Warhammer game. This one's called Age of Sigmar, Realm of Ruin. It's got 2 subheadings.
It does.
It's coming on the 17th of November. There's always a Warhammer game all the time. And then there was also an FPS. An FPS game called Delta Force Hawk Ops, which got announced as well. And lastly, a space game called Homeworld 3.
Space game.
That's coming February 2024.
Yep.
Those were all of the kind of indies that were shown during the pre-show. And then it got on to the real big boys when it came to the actual show.
Yes, we had a man play the Starfield theme on the piano.
Yeah.
Which I sung the lyrics to, which is just Starfield over and over again.
And the words, it's a space game.
It's a space game. Yeah, it is. It is a space game. It was a live action trailer which showed a little girl with really freaky
eyes.
Freakily coloured eyes.
They put these silver contact lenses in her eyes. And then I think they've purely done it because they made an animation of it coming out of a silver eye and then into something else.
Oh man, we got to make her have silver eyes now, otherwise this isn't going to make sense.
It's kind of spooky.
Kind of strange. However, I'm looking forward to Starfield.
Yeah.
At the time of recording, I'm excited to hop in and give it a go, even if what I'm really hoping is that it doesn't go the route of lots of other Elder Scrolls games for me recently, by which I mean ones that I've tried to return to, like Oblivion or Skyrim, where I'll play it for maybe an hour and I'll get really into it and then I'll just drop off it.
Yeah.
Starfield, I really hope is going to hold my attention.
I saw someone who had watched the Gamescom show that they've got going on during the week, said that the real game starts after the main quest, which is honestly one of my least favorite things I've ever read in my whole life.
So once you've done that, then
once you've done the game, that's when the real game begins.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not usually true of Elder Scrolls games because the main quest is the worst bit.
Yeah.
And you don't pay any attention to it because you just pick a direction as soon as they release you into the world.
Maybe that's why they're
sprint off.
What if you do the main quest line? That's when the real Dark Souls begins.
Sure, maybe.
But yeah, that's why I read that about it today, and it put me off a bit. But I'm still going to give it a go. Yeah. Because it's going to be on Game Pass.
It's going to be on Game Pass. It'll be out on September the 1st for those with early access, September the 6th for everybody else. So really, really soon. Very exciting time.
Then, I think the most exciting thing of the show, we found out that Bandai Namco and Supermassive are working on Little Nightmares 3, which is due out next year. We love a Little Nightmares. This one's co-op. Yep. There's 2 little kids.
Peter was very excited about this.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of Little Nightmares.
I can't remember what the names were. I think one was called Alone, and we thought the other one was called Lone and Alone, maybe. We're not sure. But there's 2 characters. They've both got little masks on. And also, they've developed this like podcast that's like set in the Little Nightmares universe, and you can like listen to the first 2 episodes now, I think. And it's like, I think it's like an audiobook more than it's a podcast.
Sounds awful.
But the picture made it like it was an ASMR like podcast, because it had like scissors and like right on your ears.
Yeah, I don't want that. That's a bit too spooky for me. I don't need that. This is also the first one, I believe, developed by Supermassive Games,
It is.
who obviously do the Dark Pictures anthology, as opposed to the original developers, whose name escapes me currently. But it's nice to see that series continuing, at least, and under Supermassive, who, regardless of how hammy their dialogue is, know how to make a game that is spooky.
Yeah.
So, this game will have no dialogue,
It's
and
whether
that's perfect for them, I think.
Yeah, they'll stick more towards what Little Nightmares is, or they'll try and like branch out a bit more and kind of not change it, but like see if they can put their own twist on it. So we'll find out next year, I guess.
Yes. Talk about that hot dad.
Oh, hot dad Zack Snyder, lol. He was there talking about his TV show. There's nothing to do with games.
Video games. Yeah.
It was going to be a Star Wars TV show. Star Wars didn't want it, so he just rewrote it, and now it's called Rebel Moon, and it's a space TV show. It's coming to Netflix.
He was notable by his handsomeness.
He was
wasn't
very handsome.
He was coming through the crowd, and I was like,
Who's this man?
Who's that handsome man?
Who's that
he
hot
can't be
dad?
a game developer.
Yeah.
It was like, it's Zack Snyder, of course. Big video game fan. He plays Fortnite, apparently.
So
Big gamer.
so of course they had to announce.
So he's got to
TV
come
show
on and
at
show
the
a
Game
trailer
Awards.
for Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Talk about Black Myth Wukong, Ashton. This seems like it's up your alley.
Yeah, it's a Monkey Man. Dark Souls-esque game. Looked hard as nails. It's based on a 16th century Chinese novel, Journey to the West by Wu Chengyan.
Maybe?
It's our first like full trailer. We heard about this game years ago. Like it's been on the radar for a while, but I'm not interested. Are you interested?
Not really, no. It's got the same source material as Enslaved Odyssey to the West, if people remember that on 360 and PS3, that had Andy Serkis in it as the Monkey Man. So it's similar basis, but yeah, it's going to have that Souls-like combat, and it's going to be really, really flipping tough. Again, I've said it a million times, it's going to take a special Souls-like to really get me on board, because all I feel like I'm doing is just chasing after the real thing.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather play the real thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Then a trailer for Killing Floor 3. It's pretty brutal.
What was this trailer again?
They were like strapped down, and then they like put a metal plate over that guy, and then they like drilled into his head.
Oh yeah. It was like a demon,
A big
thing.
monster.
Yeah. Okay.
Horrible thing. But
It's in a factory of some kind.
they've just announced that they're making it. I don't think we got a release date or anything. It was literally just, we're making this game.
Yeah.
Get hyped.
It was gruesome. It was a gruesome trailer.
Yeah.
Trailer for Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition, now available on Xbox on Game Pass, I think, as well. So if you want some Age of Empires, you go do that.
Then we both went for a Wii, but while we were having a Wii, Black Desert Online devs Pearl Abyss returned with a gameplay trailer for Crimson Desert, not to be confused with Black Desert, which is an RPG. It looks like it's a single player one, which is obviously different to BDO, and it just looked a bit weird. Like the gameplay I felt like we were really far away from the action, and I'm not really a big fan of Black Desert Online. I'm kind of giving it a little taste. I worked on their booths one year at EGX, and the guys are nice. The devs, they were nice guys. Don't care about their games though, but it'll be for someone.
It's a MMO, isn't it?
Black Desert Online is a MMO, but I think Crimson Desert isn't a MMO.
Oh, okay.
Or at least it's not yet. When Crimson Desert Online releases,
then
I'm sure maybe.
That'll be one. Ice-T. It's about time we talked about him.
Yeah.
He's getting his own heist in Payday 3, which is due out on the 21st of September. And he's going to speak like Ice-T and probably call you some rude words.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun, won't it?
It didn't
Last game he was in was Borderlands 3, maybe?
It didn't look like it was particularly like Ice-T themed, you know? It just looked like a heist. Because we saw a bit of gameplay of it, and it just looked like another heist with like Ice-T telling you what to do. But hey, maybe that's enough.
He's got a name, and people know it, so that's exciting. We got another look at Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yeah.
They were speaking in the local language that I wasn't sure what it was.
Well, it's set in Baghdad, so Is it
not sure.
Arabic?
That's probably a very safe bet, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Don't
think
know
so.
for sure. But that was pretty cool. It made me realise that actually it'd be quite nice to have a dub version where they do speak the the local language.
Yeah.
Make it feel a bit more real.
Real.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit more immersed.
Yeah, exactly.
We got another gameplay look at Modern Warfare 3, which is coming up November 10th. We got a lot of gameplay, didn't we? The whole first level.
Yeah, it's the annual Call of Duty. Let's show lots of uninterrupted gameplay. Usually where you're sneaking to begin with, and then there's lots of explosions.
Fighting, and then at the end you set a bomb.
Yes.
And then the bomb explodes, and the name of the game comes at the start.
That's great. It goes.
Yeah.
Like the night vision noise that we all know and love.
Yeah.
They were actually landing on the castle prison gulag thing from the Verdansk Warzone map.
Yes.
Which was.
People were very excited about that.
I was so excited about that. I'm going to play.
People, I mean, Ben. Ben was really
ironically, I'm going to play this campaign. And I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to. It's my self-care. I'm going to drink. So you get progressively more drunk as it goes on across the the course of the 4 or 4.5 hours or whatever. And I'm going to have a brilliant time cosplaying as some war criminal who's like sick at guns. You know? Love it.
Sick at guns.
Love it.
We got a look at Tekken 8, which will release on January 26th. The date was revealed at the end of the trailer, which showed off an arcade mode where you made like a Mii, and you could go into an arcade with a bunch of other Miis and play Tekken on the arcade machines.
That was pretty fun. There's like a little social hub.
Yeah.
And you can, if you do something currently, you can get special Paul Phoenix hair for your avatar.
Yeah. And you don't even need to go outside. You don't even need to go to an arcade and just talk to real people. You can do it in the game.
No, much safer.
Thank you, technology. We're doing it.
Technology.
Yes, exactly.
Nightingale is an upcoming open world game from Inflexion Games and will be entering early access on the 22nd of February next year.
This one's confused me.
Yeah, what is this?
So this one we've seen before, and when we saw it before, it had like a lady in like a big rimmed hat and like a Victorian dress wielding a gun, and you go through portals that are like I don't know if they're procedure generated or like random generated, because you add in a bunch of like cards as to what you want that world to be, and you go into the portal and you like fight the enemies. But we'd seen like a load of teaser trailers, and this looked completely different. In my mind, this game was something totally different. We got like base building like mechanics that were highlighted. There was like resource hunting down and stuff, and it just looked completely different than what I thought it was. Which I'm not sure what kind of game I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just kind of going to be like a run and gun, like go to different portals, kill baddies and that kind of thing. Yeah. But it looks like it's more of a resource and building game where you go through portals to try and find what you need to progress. It can be a bit like Valhalla vibes, but with like 1920s style steampunk-esque like visuals. But yeah, I thought this looked totally different than what we've seen of it before. And when it first came on, I was very confused if this was even the same game. But having Googled it, it is the same game. I just think it, like the first...
They just showed it off very differently than before.
Yeah, I think so. So then we got a trailer for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, one of them anime games.
One of those. There was a lot of those.
There was. It's coming up to PlayStation on the 1st of Feb 2024.
Yeah, that's
all I have to say about that.
That's happening, and there will be an audience that will eat that up, quite frankly. What about the trailer for Immortals of Aveum?
Yeah.
Which was released that day.
Yeah, we got a video message from one of the stars of the game.
Is it Gina Torres?
Yes. I think you might be right.
Yeah. Because you were saying on stream that she was referred to as Sir in the game.
Yeah,
like
and I was confused the whole way through. But yeah, she was there. She said, hope you're enjoying the game. And it was out that day. So we got another look at it again.
And we spoke about it earlier.
Yes,
so
we did.
If you skip that, go back if you want to know what we think. Huh? How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you skip that? What was up next?
Honky Star Rail.
Get in.
We got Honky Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, and Genshin Impact in a triple whammy.
It's the same game. It's not the same game, but they're very similar games, all made by the same people. Can't remember what the name of the dev/pub is for those, but they make all of them.
Yeah.
Lords of the Fallen got a new story trailer for that. That's coming out on October the 13th. That does look increasingly. Honestly, they've stepped up their game massively from the first one that came out on PS4, and I don't know. Maybe,
it looks a
but
little bit Soulsborne-y again.
oh, it's definitely
it?
yeah. It is a Souls-like, but again, I'm not really sure. The thing that a lot of these Souls-likes miss me on is that I love playing games in co-op.
Yes.
And when a new Souls-like comes out, whether it's an actual From Software Souls game or not, I love playing it through in co-op because I like experiencing it for the first time with another person. Like neither of us know what's around the next corner. And it's like, okay, well, you're in my game. So if you die, I can just bring you back in. So you're like, go on, go around that corner. And you see them walk around the corner and they just get blasted with a load of fire or something. Like, okay, well, now we know that. That's an experience that I really appreciate and relish in these types of games. And there are so few Souls-likes that support co-op that are not from Software. There was one, I can't remember what it's called. It had a sequel out recently, the one with the guns in it. It's basically Souls-like with guns.
I would say Immortal, but that's not right.
You're on the right track. Something like that. You'll know exactly what I mean. I'll have a look on my phone in a second.
Came out in July, I think.
Yeah, and that got decent reviews.
Yeah.
And I played the first one in co-op, and it was a bit rubbish, but it was fun in co-op. And if these games had co-op, I'd be all over them because I'm okay with. But if I've got to go in on my own and get my own fun out of it, I'm not convinced that I'll be able to do that. So unfortunately, I find them less appealing. But this trailer was very good.
It was. Hoyverse did Honky Star Rail.
Hoyverse.
I had written it down, but I forgot to read it. I think I just skipped over it because it doesn't look like a real word. Sonic Superstars was, I don't know if it was announced or we just got another look at it. It's coming October 17th, so not very long now at all. It was a new trailer which highlighted all the new characters, the fact you can play in co-op, and a battle mode that you can play as well. So more Sonic for the Sonic fans.
They're feral, aren't they, those Sonic fans? They love
are.
it. More for you. It was, I've already forgotten, Remnant from the Ashes. That's the one that I played. I quite liked it. What's next? I've lost my place. Hang on.
It was Sonic Frontiers, right at the bottom.
Sonic Frontiers. Yes. It's the final Horizon update for Sonic Frontiers. It's a free update that'll be coming out on the 28th of September. So pretty soon if you're still playing Sonic Frontiers or if you want to go back to it. There's more stuff coming soon and you won't have to pay a penny, which is nice. Science Fiction then what is that? Is that the name of a developer?
No, it's just there was more science fiction.
Oh, a theme. Yeah. Science Fiction then returned with a trailer for The First Descendant. A cross-play open beta for this game will run from the 19th to the 25th of September this year. What is this?
I can't remember much
what The
about
First
this
Descendant
game.
is.
No, I think it's an indie title. I think it's just
just one of those.
The same thing.
There were a few points actually there are a few points in every single reaction stream we do for Jeffrey shows where we're like, this game could be any one of many games. Yeah, that's a genuine issue, isn't it? A lot of these games do look the same.
I got confused between this game and one that's coming up in 2 bullet points. In fact, I'll just tell you about it now.
Go on.
Called Fort Solace, which was out day of, which had Troy Baker, Roger Clark, and Julia Brown.
Or Roger Clark, and Roger Clark, because they got the lower third nameplate right.
Which is another spooky space game that was released same day, which has come out with a solid 64 on Metacritic.
Yeah, not great. A lot of talent in it.
Yeah, a lot of talent, but they look too similar. There's not much diversity in them anymore. I'm going to just quickly look up while you talk about the next thing.
Yeah.
What The First Descendant looked like, because I just can't pick it out among the many games that we saw.
Launch trailer, we got one of those for Under the Waves. That's coming out on the 29th of August, so very, very soon. We then went off-road with Expeditions.
Oh, The First Descendant is a co-op action RPG shooter. It was the one that was a bit more fast-paced, and it's got like cool helmets and someone that looked like Bayonetta, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that because we said that's Bayonetta.
That's Bayonetta.
Yeah.
In space.
Someone in our chat got cross.
They did get cross.
It's like, well, that looks like Bayonetta though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yes, there was Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, which will be released in 2024. That's
just a rally driving game.
It's a car game. And then there was another car update as well. The Crew Motorfest got a trailer ahead of its release on the 14th of September. A 5-hour free trial for it will be running between the 14th and the 17th of September. The Crew's still going. Somehow.
Yeah.
People are still playing that.
This was announced at the Ubisoft Forward a few months ago.
Okay.
And they were talking about it for ages.
Right.
And I skipped through all of it because I'm not interested in the car game.
unfortunately.
No, I'm not.
Got one of those, haven't you? You don't need to play a game about it. You got
What, a car? Yeah.
got a
I
car.
can't drive it very fast because it might rattle itself to death, but I can drive it nonetheless.
You could still drive it off-road once.
I could, and then it would get stuck in a small hole, I'm sure. Then we got another trailer, this time a bit more in-depth look at Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty DLC, which seems like also a total rehaul of a lot of the mechanics that they've already got in the game. Again.
They said it was update 2.0, didn't they?
This is update 2.0. But in order to get update 2.0, you do have to buy the DLC.
Right, okay.
So, like, they're not just going to also give you a free update. You have to also buy the DLC if you want, like, all the kind of new stuff.
I mean, they have been working on it for a long time.
They have been. Someone, commented on the VOD being like, Cyberpunk 2077 came out in early access 3 years ago and is finally coming to a full release next month.
But you have to pay for it.
But you have to pay for it. Yeah, it's been 3 years since the initial game came out.
It's crazy.
And we're only just getting a DLC now. It looks quite a substantial DLC, but most people who played Cyberpunk 2077 played it like last year, because there was obviously a big influx when they fixed it.
And the Edge Runner.
And the Edge Runner TV
series.
show. But it's been so long now. Like, I played it a year ago. I can't remember my build. I can't remember how I played that game. I'm not going to play the whole thing again.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good this DLC is. Like, I wasn't even compelled enough to replay it then to get different endings or to reload and do different endings. I was like, that's it. I've played it now and I can tick that off. Not interested in going back.
I enjoyed it, and I have we'll probably eventually do a replay, but it's just I've not got the time. Not at the moment anyway, especially with all the stuff coming out in the next few months. And it's coming out in September, so it's like just after Starfield and surrounded by Spider-Man and Alan Wake coming out afterwards. So I just don't think there's a time for me to replay it at the moment, and I'm just worried that I'm going to try and play the DLC and just have no idea how to play the game. So we'll see. Maybe it won't be that hard to jump back into, and it'll be like riding a bike. That's what they say about Cyberpunk. Yeah. It's like riding a bike.
Sure, that is what they say.
Yeah.
I just had a build that punched everything. That was it. So that's not going to be a problem
I was very
for me.
hacky. I hacked stuff.
Okay, so you're going to have to remember some things.
Yeah.
I couldn't work out the hacking in that game. Again, just punching things.
Punching stuff.
That was it.
Yeah. Then we got another look at, well, not another look, I think it is another look actually, at Stormgate, which is a science fiction real-time strategy game. And it gave us a look at one of their factions, which is called the Infernal Host. So it's just another RTS, but this one's in space.
Space. The Last Epoch. It's an action RPG from 11th Hour Games. We got to look at one of the new classes, the Rune Master. And the Runes of Power update will arrive on the 7th of September.
Wow, that guy looked like... was it Christopher Lee? They had like a guy, an old man.
An old man?
on the screen. And I think we said he looked like Christopher Lee, and I know we said maybe it wasn't Christopher Lee, but we said like, that guy looks like famous old man actor. And it was
maybe
just
I was doing
some
a
guy.
Wii at this point. I had a second
We
Wii.
came back, I think we both came back from having another Wii.
Right.
Because again, we were drinking. And
by this point, I was pretty drunk.
Yeah.
To be honest. I don't remember a huge amount.
And then the most enthusiastic
this
man, Ben. I don't know what his surname is. His name's Ben. He really, really, really wants a job in television. He's like...
He's just like, yeah. He's just yelling
and
at
he's
Jeff.
just like screaming at the top of his lungs. And
he's way too much.
he was really excited to introduce the trailer for Marvel Snap, which is now coming to Steam.
Yeah. He was at another one. And,
He was at
and
the
Jeff
last
seemed, even though he's met him before on camera,
Yeah.
seemed less prepared this time.
He was at Summer Game Fest.
He almost seemed aggressive this time. Like Jeff was like, I feel a bit unsafe on stage with this man.
I'm stressed out. If that guy was coming on stage after the stage invaders, he'd have just barreled on stage and taken him out, I think.
He would have like done the Bane thing and broken his back.
Yeah. He's got so much energy. We made the joke the last time that he is trying to get Jeff's job, and I do still think that is the case. And I hope that he's back for the Game Awards to get an award or something. I hope Marvel Snap wins Game of the Year, so we get to hear him talk.
If he wins an award, can you imagine how excited he's going to be?
Oh my God. The most excited man in the world.
No one will be safe. No one on this planet will be safe. Then we got another look at Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, which released on the 25th of August. Is that now past? Today. Okay, yeah. So it came out yesterday at the time of release. It's got good reviews. I'm happy for you mech nerds that you've got that, but I'm not interested at all. I'm very selfishly irritated that From Software worked on this instead of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want this. But if you're hopping into it for the first time, I hope you enjoy it.
Yes. We've got a trailer for Warhaven, which we've seen before, which is a free melee multiplayer that's coming to Steam on the 21st of September.
Mm-hmm. Mortal Kombat 11.
No.
One. Sorry. Mortal Kombat 1. We looked at the combat and the mortal and the fighting. That's it. We saw some nasty fatalities.
We did.
And I think at the end it confirmed that a load of like superheroes are coming to it as well.
Yeah, there was like
Peacemaker,
the boys from like a lot of DC supervillains.
Omni-Man was there. There was Homelander, and I can't remember who else. But you want to decapitate John Cena
Actual
because
John
you can
Cena.
do that now.
And it's
in
got
Mortal Kombat 1.
the tag in mode, hasn't it?
Yeah, like your ghost buddy.
Yeah, that kind of kept happening, and I was like, oh, who's that? Like giraffe looking man, and it was just like, oh, that's.
And he celebrated like he had won at the end.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what annoyed me the most. Is that
she had won.
She won,
and he took her victory.
and he was like, "Yeah, I won." It's like, no, you're just her buddy.
You're her mate. You're her sidekick.
You're
She's
just
the hero.
Ken.
Yeah, exactly. He's just Ken. We got another trailer for Ara History Untold. Whenever I think of Ara, I think of a chihuahua barking.
What?
You know
What?
how chihuahuas, they go, Ara, Ara.
No. What are you talking
There's a
about?
specific chihuahua that barks like that.
There's
and
one.
Whenever, or like on TikTok, and whenever I see it, I'm like, that's the dog introducing the
Ara.
game. Ara.
Brilliant.
Which is being released in 2024.
Uh-huh.
It's another look at a turn-based strategy game where you can build up a civilization through an alternate history.
Ooh. Diablo 4 now, even though it's nowhere near October. Actually, we're getting quite close. Season of Blood will be the next season for Diablo 4, and that's arriving on the 17th of October. It's going to be spooky.
It is.
Spooky.
We got a look at Dustborn, which is a single-player narrative-focused game set in an alternate version of America. It's a cell-shaded game where they're like there's like 4 kids in a car. And they were like, it's like a post-apocalyptic kind of
the
thing.
dialogue was something else.
Yeah. It was very much like
It's one of those.
written for the teens kind of vibes. But yeah, it looked interesting. It looked different,
Yes,
which is good.
it did, and it's going to anger lots of people by virtue of existing. You know
Yes.
what? All the power to it for that.
There was lesbians,
There was lesbians.
which means it's not what God intended.
God doesn't like that.
No.
Let's talk about Thank Goodness You're Here, because
Oh,
this
yeah.
actually was the highlight of the show for me. This is coming from the same people who did Untitled Goose Game.
Yep.
And it looks really weird. It's got a very strange theme song. I don't even think I could describe it to you. I'm not sure if it's a game that you actually wander around an environment or if it's like a WarioWare style
I don't
Frobisher says strange thing. You should watch the trailer for it. Thank goodness you're here. It's flipping bonkers.
Yeah. And it was like kind of like the very last thing. Well, not the very last thing. There was one more thing. But it was like so late on in the show that I thought I was losing my mind. I was like, what is happening? This is brilliant.
It was incredible.
It was. And then the last thing we've got to look at, which we've not even seen that much of. So I don't even know why it's taken this long. We've barely seen it. It was Alan Wake 2, which we had a look at what he's been up to in the Dark Place, which he's apparently, according to Sam Lake, been in for 13 years.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It's a long time.
That is a long time.
Garth
And it's like,
Marenghi's Dark.
what's he bloody
Dark
been
Place.
up to in the Dark Place trademark?
Just writing novels.
Right, mad novels. And that's been pushed back to October 27th. And the reason they say is to avoid clashing with other games.
Yes. Sam Lake was there to tell us about that with
Yeah.
his Max Payne face, and then it cut to the game, and he's in that as well,
Yes,
or at least his likeness is, and that was just that threw me off massively. But
So yeah, we've got another look at Alan Wake 2, which we've seen gameplay for at Summer Games Fest. I know that obviously it is coming out like 2 months away, but there's lots of other things that are also coming out 2 months away that we haven't seen this much of. It's not a bad thing. It's just interesting that we've seen more of it, and it was like the final thing.
yeah, I don't think it was necessarily the strongest thing they could have ended on, but also I don't really know what else they could have ended on.
No, that's true.
based
Having
on what
looked
was
through
there.
the list, yeah, I'm not sure. They should have ended it on Thank Goodness You're Here.
Yes, they should. And now for something absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Thanks for watching.
I thought it was about as fun as all the other shows usually are. It didn't feel like there was as much irrelevant product placement as usual.
Oh, barely any.
Only one celebrity this time, and
Yeah.
he was actually there, which was nice. But yeah, I'm not walking away from this really with many games that I'm super excited about.
No, I mean, a lot of these games are 2024 releases now, which I think it makes sense. We are in the final quarter of the year. But in terms of like stuff that's coming out the next few months, none of it's really been like got me extra hyped for any of the games that are coming out soon. I know that maybe we're just, I said this to Ben, maybe we're just like jaded now and we're like old and grizzled.
Oh, so
and
old.
angry.
Yeah, you're so old,
So
Ashton.
old. But like I see other people and I always compared like like the way we feel to like the other way people are on Twitter. And I know that Twitter's not real. Social media's not real.
It's not.
But people are like, oh my God,
I am literally crying right
it's
now.
the Crew Motorfest. Oh my God. And I'm like,
Who are you?
what?
Who, respectfully, who are you?
Yeah.
And are you okay?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be excited about a game. It's another thing to act like it's the craziest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. And social media
Yeah.
isn't real, you're right. Because the vast majority of people who are acting like that are usually
I
doing so.
don't think you're literally crying right now.
I don't believe, for starters, I don't believe you're actually crying. But also, it's to very superficially build their own brand in order to make friends with
the devs.
PR and
Yeah.
publishers so you can get stuff
But I
in
do
exchange for loud, all caps emoji tweets.
Exciting. But I also do think that when you see like people in chat, just like regular people or people tweeting about it, and people are really excited, it definitely, I do get a bit jealous because I'm like, man, why am I not this excited about it? But then I think realistically, there's not that many games on this list that one, we didn't already know about. There wasn't, I think that maybe the biggest announcement was Little Nightmares 3. I think all the other ones were stuff we already knew about.
Yeah.
That was kind of the biggest like world premiere. Obviously there was littler games and stuff, but for the most part, I wasn't impressed. But I also, Jeff did a great job. He tempered everyone's expectations.
Yep, so much so that some people didn't
Watch it. But I do think that like it's not a bad thing for it to be just updates, but they do make a big song and dance about it, and I think maybe that is the issue. Like they add a lot of like drama and like a big stage full of flashy lights and stuff, and then they're like, did you know you can wear this hair from Tekken 8 on your character that's like a me? And it's like, oh, thank you.
Marvel Snap is coming to Steam. That could have been a press release. That literally could have been an email. That's not, as I said before, it's all about who opened their wallets.
Yeah.
The most crucial difference between a Jeffrey showcase and a Nintendo Direct or a PlayStation showcase or an Xbox
showcase.
Xbox
Direct
showcase
one, yeah.
is that yes, money does change hands for certain third-party folks to be there. However, the onus is on the presenter of that showcase or stream to put out their best and brightest to make their core audience as excited as possible, to put on the best show going. Whereas Jeff does not have the same motivations because he doesn't represent a platform.
He's got no skin in the game, kind of.
Exactly. He doesn't represent a platform other than his own, which is to make money by getting people to watch it.
Yeah.
So he will make a huge song and dance about, let me just pick one out at random, Troy Baker, Roger Clark, and Julia Brown's 64 on Metacritic rated Fort Solis game. If that was developed as an exclusive for Xbox, for example, that will be in an Xbox showcase because you can only play it there. Jeff doesn't play by those rules. It doesn't. That's why I think when we come away from the Game Awards, Summer Game Fest, Gamescom Opening Night Live, it can feel a bit deflating because the stuff there varies so wildly in quality, full stop. But then also it represents what I would say a lot of maybe the core gaming audience aren't necessarily that interested in. A lot of niche titles that specifically there's usually a big Asian presence, games that are coming out of South Korea and China that they want to market towards Western audiences, and those audiences do exist, but they're not huge.
Yeah.
And so we can come away from seeing Honky Star Rail for the fourth time, jokes aside, and think is this it? Is this all there is in gaming? It's honky Star Rail and funny hair in Tekken and Marvel Snap coming to Steam. Is that it?
Yeah.
But it's not representative of actually what's going on, because we know we've got some crazy games coming out. We've got some flipping amazing games coming out.
Yeah. I definitely think we felt a bit more dejected. Is dejected a word?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is a word.
Yeah.
It does apply.
Yeah. This year, with the showcases that we've seen this year, rather than, I think, previous years, and maybe we've been spoiled, because 2020, we got a lot of announcements.
Yeah.
Even considering there was mid-pandemic, we got a lot of big stuff. 2021, we got a lot of big stuff. And I still think we're obviously feeling the effects of the pandemic now, because there's obviously that knock-on of like games have been pushed back or changed or delayed and stuff. So we're still feeling that now, but it definitely has felt this year that it's not been as exciting it's not as an exciting time to be a gamer as it has been in previous years. I know we've got big games coming out, and I'm not dismissing Starfield and I'm not dismissing Spider-Man. There are big games that are coming out and will do really well and people will love. It just feels like
What's next?
the smorgasbord has become more of a charcuterie board.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah.
We've got some like meats and cheeses, but all the fruit is gone now, because
That's the worst bit.
yeah.
So that's good.
The fruit?
Yeah, fruit's the worst
Love
bit.
a grape. What are you talking about?
Meat and cheese. Just give me the meat and cheese.
Okay, all the grapes and
wine.
meat are here, but all the cheese is gone.
Oh.
All the cheese is gone and all the wine's gone. So you've just got meat and fruit.
Meat and fruit.
Meat and fruit.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. It's difficult because especially as far as PlayStation goes, we don't actually know really what's coming
No.
next.
No.
They need to do another showcase. Showcase this year did not perform.
It was wank.
Then I thought Xbox did a really great job at Summer at not E3, and I even thought to an extent Summer Game Fest was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was better than usual.
Yeah, it was one of the weaker shows of the week, but it wasn't as bad as PlayStation.
Starfield Direct was good as well. I like that. I think Xbox and Nintendo are doing a great job. PlayStation really needs to pick it up, and for literally everything else, that's where these other, the Future Games Show, SGF. Opening Night Live, all that kind of stuff. That's where that fits in. And that's why sometimes if that's all we've got to go on, it can feel a bit deflating. You can feel a bit dejected.
Yes. If there was another Future Games Show that actually happened this week that I haven't caught up with yet, but I did feel that Future Games Show during Summer Games Fest, not E3 week, was one of the better shows as well.
We watched that one.
Yeah,
didn't
we did.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot more indie stuff, but I think there's a way more diverse range of stuff in there. And also, like, they don't make a big song and dance about it. They're like, here's the next thing. Here's the next thing. Here's the next thing.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about here's the next thing.
Was that the one with Yuri Lowenthal and Laura Bailey?
Yeah.
Because he kept talking about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
'Cause
That may have
he's-
been
'cause he's
Future Games, or
Spider-Man.
that might have been PC Gamer. I'm not sure. No, PC Gamer was that horrible guy who I don't know who his name is.
Bless him.
He's so annoying. Hate that guy.
God.
There was another one, wasn't there? There was Future Games.
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest. Xbox.
There's
and there was
the cozy games, whatever it is.
Wholesome Games.
Wholesome Games.
Yeah.
That's it,
There was another one, but I can't remember what it was.
Anyway, that was Gamescom Opening Night Live. Let us know what you think about it or thought about it in the comments below. And if there was anything that stood out particularly for you, did you bother watching it?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Should we have bothered watching it? There are a few places you can find us on the internet, aren't there, Ashton?
There are youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump for all of our video and live stream content. On Twitch, you can use your Amazon Prime to get a free Twitch sub. It doesn't cost you any more money, and it gives us a little something. So that's nice. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all kinds of things at Team TripleJump, and patreon.com/Team TripleJump for all of our tiers are on there.
Yeah, make sure if you are a patron that you go and make the most of your SMTJ live privileges because you've got less than a week to send us a photo of your face or your podcast or your YouTube channel or whatever that will scroll behind us on the green screen. And also, if you're at the appropriate tier, to leave a voicemail for Rules Boss to respond to. We know a few people have signed up at that tier specifically recently. So make sure you get that before it goes. You're not going to want to miss out on that. Finally, go to TripleJump.mup. That's our website. You can find everything there. It's dead simple, and triplejU.mp/SMTJ will take you to the various timed rewards available for SMTJ Live happening on the 2nd of September at 11 a.m. We hope to see as many of you there as possible. Why not leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice? Helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms, and we'd really appreciate it. And there's just enough time to talk about this week's sponsor again.
Yes.
Which, of course, is the scent of the summer.
Oh, yes, of course.
Gamescom set in Cologne. Takes place in Cologne.
Yeah.
It's not a television show. And they've finally done it. They've produced a scent for all of us. It's called Eau de Gamer. And it says here, Es ist schlecht, which I think means it is bad. So make sure you go and grab yourself a bottle of that. Fantastic. Thanks for watching / listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.